I'll say a few words here. I thought it was a very positive year in many ways. We've established a style, a culture. We've established, the importance of team. We've won a lot of our fans back. We know we've got a long way to go to get exactly where we want to go, but it's been a very productive year. We must get better defensively. In the exit meetings today, talked to everyone about the fact that we're all going to need to take the challenge individually to lift our level, get stronger, take on more of an attitude at the defensive end, and we're going to have to do a better job as a coaching staff. And that is the best way for us to move this thing forward and advance it, beyond the obvious things of, the draft, free agency, and trades. So the meetings today were very productive. Guys were very honest. We were very honest with them. And we've got a real growth sort of attitude as an organization, and I think we possess a humility about what it's like to, hit the lower levels, go through a couple of rebuilding years, and we went from 25 to 35, and now we want to make another significant jump, and it just doesn't happen by having a pretty good year and just showing up the next year. So we understand that.
What does it take to make that jump? Besides defensive integrity,
Yeah, we've got to reduce fouling. We've got to increase our defensive rebounding. We're going to look at every conceivable possibility via the draft, trades, and free agency to get our rebounding and our defense better. And we've just got to take the challenge with the guys that we have here to raise their levels and to do better. So, it's Indiana, it's people know the game here. People love the game. People that study our team know our strengths. They love the way we play. They love our pace. They love our offensive approach. We've got to back it up with better defense.
A lot of the guys talk about that, about how each of them has to do it. What was that certainly strength work? How do guys get themselves?
Well, we're studying everything right now. Headed into this summer, really. That's another. The summer league is another opportunity to, if you're going to adjust your system, if you're going to do some different things that are the right things, to start cultivating those habits. And we'll see. It's the NBA is interesting because one or two players repositioned in your rotation or repositioned to a different team can make a difference. But we're just not exactly sure who that's going to be or what exactly it's going to look like. But the team will look different next year. I don't think there's any question about that. We've got some unrestricted free agents that, may or may not be back, and all that stuff that needs to be evaluated.
the final month of the season reveal for you anything that you don't know before?
Well, it was a great study of young guys stepping up into roles of greater responsibility. And I had talked to the team at different points of the season about, what that's all about. But until they're put in that position, there's no way for them to know, and there's no way for us to know how they'll respond. The fact that in the last several games we've really we're more or less eliminated from any postseason activity. There wasn't the same kind of urgency to win those games. That said, guys like Ben and Andrew and Nora, and Isaiah and Jalen were put in positions of high responsibility, and they showed some good things, and they showed some things that very obviously lead us to believe that more growth is needed, which we all know. So, but it's a lot of great film to study. We'll look at it, extensively, and figure it out from there.
Do you have any real opinions on this draft class yet?
Looks good to me. I got to be careful. I don't know what's legal and illegal to say. The very top of it is obviously impactful. When you get to the next tier, you're looking at some really talented guys, but you're also looking at youth. And so there'd be guys that would need to be developed. It would be hard to say how much they could help a team right away, but they're guys that have skill and bring elements to the NBA game that are needed. So, looks to me like a pretty good draft.
Rick, this has nothing to do with you guys specifically, but what happened in Dallas with last night? Do you have any strong feelings one way or the other on them basically handing that game to playing?
Really not comfortable commenting on it because I don't know all the details. I don't know how much is hearsay, how much is real, how much is this, how much is that. I just think it's such a competitive business. It's such a tough league. Anytime you try judging somebody else, you just gotta be awfully careful. It's just we've all been humbled too many times. I just know one thing: the Pacers were not tanking yesterday.
You talked before the season about how you really enjoy little teaching moments with young players. You do a lot of this year. In what ways do you feel like you grew as kind of a teacher-like coach this year with the younger group?
Yeah, the growth for me was from being back on the floor, working with young players that are motivated to be better. Guys like Ben Mathurin, guys like Andrew Nemhard, guys like Kendall Brown, guys like Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, Chris Duarte, and also just having a spectacular coaching staff, of young, vibrant, talented, and they're all head coaching prospects. They're all head coaches in waiting. So I've always hired people that I can learn from, people that are capable of taking on large responsibility. And this staff with Lloyd and Ron, Mike and Jenny in particular, has been a standout experience for me.
At media day, you were talking about how for you success would look like you could see the team getting better week to week, month to month, whatever increment. Did you feel like you saw that this season? In what ways did you or did you not see that growth that you wanted to see?
Well, we've certainly seen growth. It's come in different ways. you don't always see growth in wins. When Tyrese went out, Andrew Nemhart stepped in. We were in a particularly tough stretch of scheduling, and so there was considerable growth to go along with considerable losses. But when you're rebuilding, that's the world you're living in, and you've got to take the right attitude. You got to have the right vibe every day. Your support staff has got to be on point. Everybody from our PR people to our trainers to the people in the weight room, to our player relations people, have to have a great vibe, a great positive vibe every day. And I felt, as an organization, we did that, and I'm very grateful to all of them. And there's been a lot of information gathered through this process this year that we'll process, and from here going forward, it's going to be about the decisions that are made. Well, everybody wants a four-man that has length, that can guard multiple positions, that can shoot threes and make plays. It's become one of the hardest positions to fill because there are many players that can do that, but finding the ones that are 6'8", 6'9" that can do that is not easy. Just aren't a whole lot of them. I've been a big supporter of his since the day I walked in here. Just from the standpoint of the eye test, from the metrics that I've seen, even going back to before I was here. And there have been multiple offers to trade for him over the last 2 years, and I've been one that's felt that having him here is in the best interest of the franchise, and I'm very glad that we were able to get his deal done. I'm glad that he's been able to play the 5 on a consistent basis, because he's shown how reverential that's been for his game. And now we've got to take his great year, Tyrese's great year, Ben's great rookie year, Andrew's great rookie year, Buddy's historic year, shooting the ball, and everything that everybody has done positively, and move it in the direction of improvement for next year. Well, simply that, the direction that he's headed, he becomes a partner in the franchise. That's when you're the face of the franchise. You're a real partner in it. We need to do everything possible to put him in a position to be able to do his job at the highest possible levels, and try to remove as much difficulty from his job as possible. He's aware that, as the leader of the team, on the defensive side of the ball, he's going to have to get stronger and raise that element of his game. And I tell you, I couldn't be more excited to head off into the future with a guy other than him. I mean, he's spectacular. He's a great young player. He's a great leader, and he's a no-nonsense, look you in the eye, Reggie Miller type guy. I can't give a greater compliment than that. Very, very, and they realize it. And there was great discussion about that today.
Were you able to glean from Chris Duarte, considering injuries kind of kept him away?
This has got to be a new beginning for Chris. You know, I mean, he had so many great stretches of his rookie year. This year just never quite got going, but he did have some very productive stretches as he started to become healthy. You know, we're having 2 weeks of developmental stuff for our young guys. One will be the week of May 8th. The other will be the week of June 12th. He'll be back for May 8th, and we're turning the page, you know, and moving forward. I mean, this is a talented young player that is a great shooter and was one of our best on-the-ball defenders last year. And so, you know, he'll be fine. He just needs to get himself healthy, which I expect to happen in relative short order, and we need to move forward.